God, everywhere I went.
Okay, excuse me. I think it's that time, and looks like we've got a great crowd here today. We've got a nice agenda, so at this time I'd like to call the meeting of the Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Kenny?
Master King?
Here.
Master Barter?
Here.
Master Hughes?
Here.
Master Combs?
Here.
Judge Clark?
Here. You all have had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting. If there are no changes or discussion, motion would be in order to approve those as submitted in your packets.
So moved. Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barter?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Treasurer's report. Glenna has that today for us.
I passed out the report for the month of March, ending 3/31/12. If you look, the fund balance as of February 29th, 2012 was $5,713,933.73. The fund balance on 3/31/2012 is $5,407,640.57. As of the end of March, we should be somewhere around 75% of our budget. Our general fund revenues are at 75.3%. Our expenditures are at 48.9%. Our road fund revenues are at 92.6%, and our expenditures are at 80.7%. The jail fund revenues are at 81.1%, and our expenditures are at 78%. CSEP, the revenues are at 48.8%, expenditures are at 46.7%. And 911, the revenues are at 82.9%, and their expenditures are at 73.4%. Does anybody have any questions?
Just right along with last year, about the
Yes.
same.
Yes. Yes, and we are, all of them except the jail's 78% on expenditures. It should be somewhere around 75, so we're right there. Road is at 80.7. Both of them, their revenues have exceeded, though. So we
Okay.
brought in more revenues at this time than we.
Look, it's not 110.
So all the funds are looking really well.
Okay, if no questions, thanks, Glenna. Appreciate it. Go into order of business, and I want to change this just a little bit. Lynn Heisel's here with us for Relay for Life. We got to meet Lynn last year, and I think she's kind of on a time frame, so we wanted to allow her to go first and talk to us a little bit about the upcoming Relay for Life.
Thank you. First of all, I do want to thank you for letting Nola and I come today to discuss something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that's the Madison County Relay for Life. 17 years ago, Nola Newman had the first Relay for Life event here in Madison County. So many of you already know about Relay for Life, but there might just be one person in here today that has never heard about Relay for Life, who's never heard those words, "you have cancer," or has had a family member hear those words. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Relay for Life. This is a celebration of life for those who are survivors of cancer. We come together for one night at a local school, and it's going to be held at Michael Caudle Middle School on June the 15th. We celebrate those survivors. We recognize those who are battling cancer right now, and we honor and remember those who have passed because of cancer. You know, you see videos and you hear stories, but it never gives you the true impact of what a Relay for Life event does. And I would strongly encourage everyone here to at least go to one event in your lifetime if you've never been to one. As I said a few minutes ago, the event this year is going to be on June the 15th. It starts at 6 o'clock with our opening ceremony at 7 o'clock. And it will end at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. Last year, Madison County raised $136,000, and I think that's really good for Madison County. We have people and businesses that come on board as corporate sponsors, and for that gets their name on the T-shirt. They give a $1,000 donation or more, and then they're advertised throughout the entire event. I would like to recognize those that have come on board so far. It's Mark Robbins, County Attorney, the Madison County Fiscal Court, Larry Combs in loving memory of Laura, Miller's Tire, People's Bank, Patty A. Clay Regional Medical Center, WG&T Builders, Davis and Hilton Accounting and Tax Service, NACO Material Handling, St. Joseph of Berea, Dr. Gillespie in memory of Nancy, Bechtel Parsons, and Sherwin Williams. You know, it's nice to see that the county is behind us. And when you put an event on as large as Relay for Life, and you know that the county is backing you, it makes you feel really good about it. The fiscal court family here at the courthouse, they formed a team called County Cares. And as you can see, walking in the hallway, all the feet that are lining the hallway. And by the looks of the feet, they've been working really hard to raise their money for this event. I would also like to recognize Roger Barger and the Butcher family for their years of dedication and support. For several years, this family gathers together for one weekend and hosts one of the largest plant sales in Madison County, with all their proceeds going for their Relay for Life team. And this sale takes place this weekend at the Madison County Fairgrounds. And I think it starts Friday, doesn't it?
Correct, 12 o'clock.
So what better time to spruce up your lawn and maybe help find a cure for cancer? So you see, there are several ways that you can make a mark in Madison County. It's Relay for Life. Not everyone can afford $1,000, but everybody can help in some way. We need teams. We need volunteers on the day of the event to help set up. We also need people to come the next day to help us tear everything down. You know that I'm never going to be that person that's going to find that cure for cancer. But with every dollar that we raise, we can help fund the research so that someday somebody will. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Nola, thank you. Do you want to say a few words?
On May the 18th, we're having our proclamation event at the courthouse. Still okay, right? From 7 to 9. We've tried Saturday mornings before, and it wasn't quite so successful, and Mark is going to help us with some music, and we've got a lot of things we're planning for that afternoon or that night. It's on a
He's
Friday
not gonna
night.
sing it.
No, but I'm
promising I won't sing.
he's got the contacts to it. So I do appreciate you all being behind us so much. It makes us feel so good. There's only one thing I disagree with Lynn on, and that 136,000. Madison County is a big county, and we've got so many people backing us. I think it could be 150,000. But again, I've always said, go for the moon, and you fall, land amongst the stars. So we're landing amongst the stars right now. But please come to the event. I'd love to see you there, at least for the opening ceremony and the Survivors Walk. You have to be there and feel the camaraderie. Hearing those words, you have cancer, you can never get over, but watching a loved one die from it. So this year, we're going to be walking in memory of my mama. I lost Mama in February, so come help us. We need you.
Thank you, Nola.
Thank you for letting us.
Thank you all for coming
Let
in.
us
We
come
really
big.
appreciate it. Okay, next is Kentucky Transportation Rural Secondary Roads, and I saw Brett come in a little late. I was looking for him earlier. That's no problem whatsoever, Brett.
Honestly, it's my first solo trip to Richmond. Randy's in training today, and I realized I've never driven here before. He always has me drive all these different projects, so just driving straight here is a new adventure. Does anybody back here need a copy? Okay, I've handed out two pieces of paper. One's just an information page, which covers the rural secondary program, how the funds are calculated. It tells you what the roads are, essentially. Second page is a map and money. And if you look at the map, there's yellow roads on there, and those are known as the rural secondary roads. And if you're looking at the map, everything that's circled in blue has been authorized and completed in past years. The items that are circled in orange are what we're recommending for this year. There's an item circled in green, which if you wanted to apply your flex funds to a state route, that's our recommendation. Turning to the other side, the money page, the very top right-hand corner, you see that you have 116 rural secondary miles, 116.508. That down green arrow means that it's actually gone down from past years because we had a system review in which we took some of your rural secondary roads and put them into the regular maintenance pool of roads. That way, there were some roads that needed more attention than an annual basis, such as RS roads. It was actually a good thing because looking to the left of that, the near resurfacing cycle has actually dropped. It used to be 9 to 13 years. It's now 8 to 11 years. What that means is if you were to take every dollar available, put it on a state road, then you would resurface all the roads in your county in 8 years. If you keep your flex funds, which we'll discuss in just a second, for your county roads, you'll resurface your county in 11 years. It's actually the best resurfacing cycle in our entire district. We actually shoot for a 15-year resurfacing cycle with every county, and you all are doing great. If you look at fiscal year 2013 money, the first line there, that $332,000, that's a flex fund that the governor set aside the past 4 years. He takes 20% of the allotment that's given to Madison County, and you can choose to flex it over to county roads or put it back on the state roads. That's why it's called the flex funds. Below that, the $899,000 is the balance that must go on state routes, giving you $1.2 million to put on for resurfacing. Dropping down, you see the details of the blue roads, the blue circles on the back are right there for the past couple years. Dropping down to the orange diamond, what we're recommending for this fiscal year is part of Kentucky 1156. Well, the majority, I think maybe that's all of 1156, 9.3 miles. And then a part of Kentucky 595, the Walnut Meadow Road area, about a little over 1.5 miles. And if you were to want to put the flex funds on a state route, we're suggesting a continuation of the Walnut Meadow Road. We're asking for 2 decisions today. One is how you'd like to use the flex funds. Would you like to put them back on state roads? You check yes there. If you'd like to keep them for county road resurfacing, and just a reminder, if you use it on a county road, it's only for resurfacing or full width strip patching. If you'd like to keep them for your county roads, you check no there. The second decision is if you accept our recommendation of the orange diamond for your resurfacing dollars for the RS roads for this year.
Brett, Leroy and I met with your complete staff a couple of months ago.
That's right.
Went over this in detail. And we've always been very cooperative with the state.
Absolutely.
But it seems as budgets are getting a little slimmer. Last year, we decided to take the flex, and it's really helping us a lot. It's helping us a lot with our budget as far as the road department. And I think we made a decision, and I feel like the court feels the same way, that we'd like to go on and take the flex funding opportunity that Governor Beshear started 4 or 5 years ago.
That's right. So you would check no here. And then the other decision is if you accept our recommendation for the RS routes.
I think we looked at these, and these were the 2 roads that really needed it the worst, that we'd kind of put off a little bit so we could complete Union City and Pussy Ridge, Charlie Norris, and some of those roads. So I'll ask the court to make comments, but I think your recommendations as far as Jacks Creek and Walnut Meadow are excellent. They both need them. We've been out to look at them, and it's going to be some much-needed blacktop on the rural secondary roads that really need it. Ask comments from the court if anybody has anything.
On this, it says Gwen Road. I know right in front of the Ages is the roughest part of Walnut Meadow Road. Is that going to include it? It's just
It'll just go to the sharp curve. It's just about a mile and something.
I'm gonna defer to our Madison County engineer.
It's a little bit over a mile and a half.
Yeah.
So we won't get the roughest part.
It probably won't get the roughest part right now. That will probably be extended if you guys have determined that we're not going to use the flex funds. Then the next fiscal year, that will be probably the #1 priority to extend it on.
We can't move this on down to the rough part and get it.
No, this is a recommendation, and of course Paul works, and this is what they feel like needs it. And like Paul said, Greg, the next part, Gwynn Road, will be the top priority next year on top of the list.
I'm comfortable with it, and and like you said, I want to use the flex funds we always have. It's not going to benefit me a lot. It's like I told you all at the last court meeting.
We've tried every year when we meet with Brett and his whole staff, I mean, like 10, you know, we try to pick portions of the county and the roads that really need it. You know, we worked 2 years, really part of the first year on Union City and Poozy Ridge, and then we got to do Lost Fork, which was in dire need of it, Charlie Norris, Maple Grove. So we've been able to get those that really need it. I think Jack's Creek, there's no question, and then Walnut Meadow, and this is, like I said, Greg, this is a recommendation.
I mean, it's good. I'm glad it's in my area, but, you know, I just hope we...
I think...
I'll remind you, this 10-year, averaging a 10-year resurfacing cycle, we have some counties that are 20 years. So this is, you all are in a fantastic situation.
I mean, it's really, really a good deal, and I think we're the only county in the district that contract on the rural sector as far as...
Correct. We do have another county that's
maintenance.
considering it, but we haven't finished negotiations.
That's working out great, and we're getting those roads blacktop. So if there are no further questions, I'd ask for a motion from the court to the no and use our flex funding offered by Governor Beshear, and also accept the recommendations for fiscal year 13 from District 7.
So move.
Second. Yes.
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 So Judge, if you don't mind signing it and checking no, I'll exchange you a copy.
There you are, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
We appreciate you coming over, Brett. Thank you. Excellent.
You gonna
Paul,
call me
thanks
on
for
that,
coming
Paul?
in. We appreciate all your help, too.
Thank you all.
Paul is our engineer over here for District 7. Next, it's always a pleasure to welcome Sue Porter, who's representing CAECO and I think the Workman's Comp Program. Sue, it's good to see you as always.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I've got some good news to share with you guys today. Our work comp board, our CAECO work comp board, has declared a dividend for work on our workers' compensation program. That happens because you all, as owners of the program, had good experience in this year, and this is for the year 2006-2007. And we had all the funds that are left over of our program. Once claims are closed out and everything can be closed out for the year and expenses and things, you all get to share in what's left over from that. And your all's portion for that year is $18,987.61. So, yeah, isn't that great? And in the last 2 years, 2 years ago, the CAF board, the Property and Liability Board, also declared a dividend, and you all got back over $20,000 from that year. So in the last 2 years, from your insurance programs, you've gotten back over $43,000 in dividend funds. So we hope to keep that up in future years to come, and I wanted to present this to you today, and I'm hoping that I can get a check, or excuse me, not a check, a picture with you guys today with this check, or if that's not convenient for you and you want to carry on your meeting, that maybe you all could do one and email it to us so we can use it in the county viewpoint.
When would you like to do it right now, or do you need to go? I'm sure you've got more meetings to go to.
I would appreciate it, but again, I'm on your all schedule, so if you need to.
Just go get your picture.
No, we do the whole court.
Oh no, I've got my camera here. Just take a minute if you
Okay,
want me
let's
to
do it.
that.
Let's go. We're going to fly through this agenda anyway.
That looks like rubber. That won't bounce with it.
Yeah, well, this one might, but you get the real one. I didn't say that. You do get the real one in July. Stand back just a little bit. Right here, and I'll just go right here, and then I can get it. Sorry. Oh, yeah, this is perfect. I'm gonna take just a couple here, make sure I get everybody smiling. Don't do that to me. you all so much.
Thanks, Sue. We appreciate you. Okay, Coach Ben, a huge asset for us in the insurance business.
One more thing before I leave, I'm gonna leave, we've got some little notebooks and little notepads. There's 2 in each one. If I can leave these here where you all can pass them down. It's nice little notebooks to have. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sue. Have a nice day. Okay, and I do want to apologize to those in the audience that had to go through that little picture taking, but, okay. Next, it's always our pleasure. You know, it seems like she's coming in more and more and talking about more good things, and Jennifer Webb is here today to talk to us about Alcohol Awareness Month. Jennifer?
Alcohol Awareness Month is a month to raise awareness of alcohol abuse and encourage folks to live healthier lifestyles. And so Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy, we're going to do a proclamation today, I think, but it's kind of late in the month. But we have been working, Madison County Youth in Action and Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy. We've been very busy this month. I've participated in a couple of health fairs at the middle schools. I've got another one scheduled at Foley. Basically put drunk goggles on 300 middle schoolers and talk to them about why the legal drinking age is 21. And then put the drunk goggles on them to simulate the effects of alcohol on their vision, and then have them do an obstacle course. So we've been doing those, and like I said, I have one more scheduled next week. Underage drinking costs Kentucky citizens $688.2 million in 2010. So that's why this month, this Alcohol Awareness Month, is very important to highlight the reasons why you should not drink underage. Another program that we've been doing quite a bit this month with the Madison County Youth in Action is the Alco Pops, and that's where we go to civic groups and we educate parents. This is a program that we only present to parents because we don't want to give youth ideas. So I brought a couple to show you. Alco Pops are alcoholic beverages with a lot of fruity flavoring that are marketed towards teenagers. This is a Colt Blast, and most of you in the audience probably haven't seen it before because Snoop Dogg is actually the person who is used to market these, and I don't know how effective Snoop Dogg is on you buying products. I know he doesn't do anything for me. I don't go out and buy anything because Snoop Dogg tells me to. But basically, this drink right here contains the equivalent of almost 5 beers in one can, and it's you'll find these in liquor stores, in gas stations, and they're sold right alongside of energy drinks that are non-alcoholic. So it's often very difficult to tell the difference between the two. And actually, I brought another one. This is a Four Loko, which is also very popular. And then this is a non-alcoholic energy drink. As you can tell, the coloring of the cans are intended to appeal to someone in the 14 to 24 age group. And it's often, like I said, these are placed right next to each other, so it's often very difficult to tell the difference between the alcoholic and non-alcoholic. The Four Loko you can buy usually cheaper than a non-alcoholic drink. This would run you about $2.42 a can, whereas some of your other like Rockstar drinks would be about $2.87. So again, you're getting the equivalent. This is 12% alcohol per volume, and you're getting the equivalent of almost 5 cans of beer in this one drink. So often kids drink these at school, and they go undetected because, like I said, they are so close. The packaging is so close to the non-alcoholic drinks. So we do go around to parents and educate them about what to look for. This doesn't have any of the FDA labeling on the side like this non-alcoholic drink does. That's one way to tell. The other thing, you'll see these marketed a lot on Facebook. Four Loko has a page, and it had some girls who were 15 years old who had a nice little neat stack of Four Loko drinks they had made like a little stack of Four Lokos, and they said that the quote was, "Four Loko makes us take our clothes off." And whenever you look on Facebook, you can go back and see that these girls are 15 years old. So this is something for parents to be aware of. In one of the schools in Western Kentucky, this presentation was made. One of the school resource officers got up, went to the vending machine, and realized that they were actually selling an alcoholic version of these at the school. So very deceptive. In Tennessee, their lawmakers passed a law that says that limits these to 9% alcohol per volume, and instead of Four Loko or Blast just stop selling them in Tennessee, they actually came up with a 9% alcohol per volume can. So it is a moneymaker for that industry, and we do like to raise awareness of it. The other thing we like to do, we talk about trends in underage drinking, and one of the big trends right now is concealment of alcohol. Kids will do anything to bring alcohol into school or football games, basketball games, and there are websites that you can get on to buy things in order to conceal your alcohol. And this is one of the funnier ones. This is Beer Belly, and the caption under it says, "Dang, that's hot." I don't know how many of you ladies think, "Dang, that's hot." I don't. But it holds 64 shots or 6.8 beers, and it's $29.99. And you just put this under your clothes and bring it in to ball games. This is called the wine rack. The caption under that on the website is "Turn your A's to double D's." And this holds 64 shots, and it also retails for $29.99. So concealment is a very popular trend with young adults nowadays. So just be on the lookout for that.
Jennifer, let me ask you something. This Blast and Loco or whatever, they're sold with alcoholic portions of the store, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And aren't they checked? I mean, the clerks are aware of that these are alcoholic beverages.
Presumably.
And that they do check the IDs?
But if they get in trouble, or if they get in a hurry, they look so similar that sometimes they don't check. The ABC does compliance checks, and kids that are between the ages of 18 and 20 can go into liquor stores and attempt to purchase alcohol. And I know a couple of kids who do this, and they say that every time they go in, they'll buy one of these. And it's very easy to buy these.
That one says we ID, doesn't it?
It does. On the side somewhere.
See, it said
Oh, right here. Yep.
It's awful small though.
It is very small, and you were able to see it. I'm right up against it, and I couldn't see it. But so yeah, be on the lookout for those. The Madison County Youth in Action Group did go to Frankfort a couple of years ago and asked for a bill for the placement of these, and also to raise the tax, because these are not taxed at the same rate as beer. And that died because that year tax on all alcohol went up. So we're going to attempt that again next year. So.
Okay, Jennifer, I've got
Thank
a proclamation from the court. I'd like to read if you have just a second. Whereas April was named Alcohol Awareness Month in 1987 by the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, which was founded in 1944 to educate Americans about the treatable and preventable disease of alcoholism. This year, NCADD has partnered with leadership to keep children alcohol-free and Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration to sponsor this important effort. Whereas Alcohol Awareness Month spotlights the destructive effects of underage drinking on our nation's youth, and whereas alcohol is also involved in about 1,600 homicides and 300 suicides each year among persons under 21, whereas young people who begin drinking before the age of 15 are 5 times more likely to develop alcohol dependency than those who begin drinking at the age of 21. Whereas the complex problem of underage drinking can only be solved through sustained cooperation between parents, schools, community leaders, interested organizations, and individuals, and America's youth. Now, therefore, I, Kent Clark, Madison County Judge Executive, and the Madison County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim April 2012 as Alcohol Awareness Month and urge all citizens of Madison County to support efforts to keep our children alcohol-free. Jennifer, thank you so much for all your hard work. We appreciate it.
I just want to add, too, that Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy will be hosting our second annual drugs conference, which is Diverse Resources United for a Great Solution. And that is May the 17th out at the new Armory building. And we've sent out announcements, but if anybody has any questions about it, please give me a call. And thank you again to Fiscal Court for administering our grant for Madison County ASAP. Every year it gets a smaller grant because that is tobacco settlement money. This year it'll be $14,500, and that's down from the initial grant of $50,000. So we still have applied for it, and we're going to use it wisely because I think it'll benefit a lot of programs here in Madison County. Thank you.
Jennifer, I had a question.
Sure.
I think you addressed us a few months ago on the synthetic marijuana
Yes.
in the state. We were hoping,
And they didn't pass it. No.
so we still got back.
So-
It's a
Yes.
terrible.
But we can do that ourselves.
This bill did pass.
The newest one,
There
Was it-
There was a bill that passed and shot right through.
So I
I'll
thought.
get you a copy of that.
okay.
Well, even if you didn't, I mean, we can take that action ourselves, can't we?
It's not a type of situation that you could really enforce and police on a local level because it's much too big of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do something here, you drive them to the next county. This is something that needs to be regulated at the very minimum on a state level.
Right.
And I would argue it needs to be banned federally.
Right.
There's no positive aspect of this stuff at all.
Right.
And the dangers of it are frightening.
Yeah.
But at the very minimum, this does need to be addressed on a statewide basis.
You think it was in the, okay.
And there was a pill mill bill, by the way, that was also passed, and I think that they just actually signed that bill.
Yesterday.
Proclamation maybe this morning.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So there were a number of things passed, nowhere near what we would have liked to, but considering how little came out of session this year, there were a few things that did get at least some traction.
And the federal bill was halted by Senator Paul. And just, that one would have been ideal. Because, again, if you ban it in Kentucky, just like if you ban it in Madison County, then they're going to go to another county. If you ban it in Kentucky, then they're going to go to another state. So the federal legislation would have been ideal, so.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I guess you're just giving him a plug there, wasn't you?
Okay, next on the agenda is appointment to the Madison County Library Board. And Judy, I promise you that you are not the scapegoat or the guinea pig or whatever. Some of the magistrates and, well, all of us are very much interested in tax rates and taxing districts. And we're trying to make sure that everybody understands how the economy is right now. Make sure that there's enough money to offer a wonderful service for that particular taxing district, but also understands that, you know, we've got to help the taxpayers also. So some of the members of the court asked me on any new members, new board appointments on any of the taxing districts. So I don't want you to think you're being picked out. You just happen to be the first new member coming in on the library board. and they wanted you to come in just a few minutes and maybe ask you a few questions.
Sure.
See how you felt about the taxing district, and also I know how you feel about the library. I've talked to Ruthie several times, and she loves you to death. Ruthie's here, the executive director of the library, and Ray DeSlover's here, and I think Ray's serving as chairman of the board right now. So we're glad to have you all also. And Judy, if you want to say a few words, and then if there are anybody that has any questions, we'll just open the floor.
Sure, and it's always good to be with you here at the Fiscal Court. I've been with you before, and good to be back. Hi, Guy. I was telling Ruthie that I was thinking about when I was a kid. I actually grew up in Meade County, and my parents ran a gas station, and the bookmobile would come about once a month, and it would be so exciting to run out. And I know we all have these stories and see what the bookmobile had, and that's where I learned about biographies, that there were books written about real people that did real things beyond a gas station parking lot. And you know, I've dedicated my work and my life to lifelong learning through public broadcasting and public media and community engagement, now with Habitat for Humanity. And these have all been organizations that have to be excellent stewards of dollars, serve in the public interest, and also be very aware of offering effective services to people who don't have, oftentimes, resources that others do, for people who sometimes don't have the voice that many others do. So that's why I'm really excited about serving the library. I appreciate the fiscal conservatism of the board that I understand is present so far. Look forward to learning a lot about how the tax system works with the library system and how we can continue to serve. There are 41,000 cardholders with the Madison County Public Library. It's a critical place for job training, for children to have a safe place, for community groups to get together and explore issues and learn and enjoy learning for their whole lives. So I'm excited and happy to take any questions. I'm very new, obviously. I've been to one board meeting so far, so I might call on Ruthie and Ray. I don't know the answer to your questions, but happy to take them.
Could you elaborate on your background just a little bit more?
Sure.
Where did you work?
Yes, I worked for public media. I worked at Morehead State University for WMKY, public radio, and then here at Eastern at WEKU. My public radio career was about 10 years, and then I worked with KET, very committed to education and community engagement for 17 years. So public broadcasting for the state of Kentucky. And my work there was in community outreach, using media for positive change and to get people engaged. And I worked with libraries, with the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives, and library systems across the state, getting people engaged in community issues like health and early childhood education. Then a couple of years ago, I retired from KET and came to work at Habitat for Humanity here in Madison and Clark counties. Been doing that for 2 years. So,
I appreciate board members that serve on all these boards because you serve for nothing. And but what I wanted to bring to mind, and I get reminded of this from time to time from citizens I run into several years ago. Back in the 80s, the public voted down the public library. It was put up for referendum, and the public voted it down. And the fiscal court approved the library taxing district. It was a split vote. And Harold Botner Sr. was the judge, and he cast the deciding vote. And that vote likely cost him his political career. Well, I know, that libraries, because I'm a card-carrying member of the library, and I believe in libraries. And there is there's a lot of research done on what's the future of public libraries. It's a big debates going on. I got some articles that I'd be happy to share with you. What's the future? But I do know that I don't think there was intent from taxing districts, and libraries just one tax. There wasn't an intent for taxing districts to pile up huge amounts of money that they don't even know what to do with. I mean, when a board, a taxing district has to sit around and figure out, well, what are we going to do with all this money because there isn't anything paying any interest? I mean, you got a couple. Library board's got a couple of million, probably, maybe 3, and so you're trying to find something to spend that money on. Well, I know that the taxpayers didn't intend for that to happen. We got the 911 board; they're needing $600,000.
Bill Ray, she's a brand new member.
I know, but I'm not talking to her. I'm not talking to her. I'm just voicing these concerns. There's a groundswell of attention being brought on taxing districts. Now, Adam Edelin, the public auditor at our last magistrates convention, he said, he's talking about taxing districts. Anytime you bring it up, I mean, the radars go up. There's a great sensitivity to these taxing districts because they're really operating in it's almost like a detached environment. They answer to no one but themselves. I mean, that's just the way the law is written. The compensating rate situation, and we thought that the compensating rate or 4% increase, well, and that is exactly right. But if the compensating rate happens to produce a 10% tax increase, well, that's okay. And that's what's happened with the library board is they've been enjoying a 10% tax increase for past at least about 3 years. And there's nothing that we could do about it. The only thing at the fiscal court, we elected people, the only impact we have is when someone is appointed to the board. This is a rare occasion for me to get to sound off on taxing districts. And I'm not criticizing. I really appreciate I appreciate Ray. I appreciate the work. It's the system. It's the system that there's something wrong with, and everyone knows it, and something's got to be done about it. And taxing districts, either they can ignore and hope that this thing will die down, or they can accommodate and avoid a potential collision with a rising activist public that's not happy with what's going on with this taxation without representation. That's what it boils down to. And that's really what it is. It's when they set up these taxing districts, they were well intended, and they are well intended. But the way the situation is there's no accountability, and it's something that's got to be fixed sometime in the future. And I don't know when, but the sooner the better.
Let me just say a word here, Reverend. The taxing districts were set up. We've been very fortunate in Madison County to have some very good board members. We've got taxing districts that provide excellent services, probably as good as anybody in the state of Kentucky. You know, one thing that a lot of people don't understand is we're one of the fastest growing counties in the state. Richmond's one of the fastest growing cities, as is Berea. And we've been growing at this tremendous rate of over 1,000 people a year, Judy, for the last about 18 years. That's going to continue. And with that comes, and I'm getting back part to Bill Ray, with that, more people are coming in. They're not buying homes right now. They're renting more than buying. But what we think we're going to see a difference in that, but still people are building. You know, you've got the Richmond Center came in, and that's a huge tax base. You've got the family from London that came in and spent $22 million on Duncannon interchange, and that's going to create a huge tax base. So with that, taxes are going to increase for the taxing districts. So what we're very much interested in is they all watch that, and you know, nobody ever wants to lower a rate, because if you ever lower it 0.1%, you can't ever get it back. But I think we're going to see in the near future, in the next 5 and 10 years, that the taxing, you know, even though the growth and your employment, you know, and retirement's going up and health insurance is going up, you know, I think we're going to see where we can hold it, we can keep it where it is. And I really believe with the growth, I don't see any need for any taxing district to increase the rates. I really don't. But if somebody did, and I'm trying to talk to all of them, then we're going to ask that particular board to come in and address the fiscal court and explain exactly why. But you're seeing more money. It's like a surplus. Most, not all of them have a surplus. But and the main reason of that is because you're expanding. The library board built a new library in Berea, and I know you all want to pay that off. But the taxes are increasing. Not a whole lot right now, but they're going to continue to do that, the tax base. So it's kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't type thing. But I think everybody needs to keep a rainy day fund for emergencies or something that you want to do or you're looking at 10 years from now. You mean you might want a new library. I mean, we might want a new fire department, something like that. But we're just asking everybody to keep an eye on it and use your common sense when you all are setting tax rates. And then we're going to ask this year, we usually do it, but I'll ask Ruthie to come in representing the library, and then any board member can come in, as I will Jimmy Cornelison with the EMS, you know, Brandon with the extension office, the health department, any of our taxing districts. We're going to ask them, and I don't know if we'll get anything out of it, but we're going to ask the school district to come in and talk to us a little bit and just explain exactly, you know, what they're doing with the money, how they're really providing and upgrading services for the residents of the county. So we're just taking another approach at it. It's always been, and you know, we all know it's, we try to appoint the best members possible, and we've been so fortunate. But it's something now, because of the economy and the growth, that we're going to try to take a little more involvement in. We want to really know what's going on inside the board and what your plans are, what you all are looking at in 5 years and 10 years. So that's kind of what we're doing. And we've got some very interested magistrates that want to get involved. And, you know, some of them come to your board member. I know Roger comes to the library board and just sits back, and he comes back and tells us that stuff. But Bill and I have both said enough, so if there are no further questions.
I'd just like to make a comment on the board itself. Haven't got a thing against what Billy Ray has to say, because it is in the interest of the people, and that's what we're here for. But this particular board that I've sat on for a number of years, the projects that I've seen them do and the money that I've seen them spend has never been elaborate. And I told them this at the last meeting when I met Judy for the first time. I'd never met her. But I trusted her because the board chose her. And that's all we can go by, is what the board recommends. I think we found out at our last meetings that we really can't appoint anybody. We just have to turn down whoever they recommend and tell them to try to find somebody else if we don't want them. But this board, I couldn't tell you to the penny what they got. I'm going to say $1.5 million to $2 million. And I'd say I'm pretty close in backup money. That's a whole lot for a library, maybe. But I look at it another way, and I told them this. What are we going to do when they're dead broke and they need to build something or want to add on, and they're coming begging for us the money? I'm glad they got the money, as long as the money's not wasted and it's spent the proper way. What I'm looking for is the people that's got $1 million or $2 million, and you see half of them going to the Bahamas for a week. That's what I'm looking for. But as long as that money is used in the proper way and it's not extravagant with what they do with it, I appreciate what they do.
Greg, do you have a comment?
I'm just glad to see a face with a name and to get familiar with that and knowing who we're appointing. And, you know, we're not here to discourage you for your job. I'm glad you're taking the opportunity to fulfill that board. But, you know, as people, as beginning to deal with people's money, you know, it's like a job. As, you know, we can't go and make them give us raises. You know, it has to be approved by them. And, you know, with the people that the tax bearing that the people is bearing, you know, for us to just keep throwing taxes and taxes, then, you know, it's something that we need to stand back and look at it and say, let's not put no more burden on people. And I know it's all done been said, but it's good to meet you and glad to welcome you to the board and to be there. So.
Larry, do you have anything?
Well, I'm gonna say on a positive note, there's no doubt you're well qualified, and I'm sure you'll do a good job. I just wanna welcome you.
Thank you.
I know there's a lot of people on that board, and, you know, when you do it free, you're not getting much for it, but I do appreciate it. Ray, did the city of Brea ever give you all the money that they were gonna give you if you stayed where you was in Brea?
We've got pretty much all that.
All right,
We got it.
okay.
We did. That's been 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's still on my mind.
Yeah, no, they did.
Okay.
It's fine.
But I know you'll do a good job, and I just want to tell you, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Judy, Ruthie, Ray, thank you all for coming in today. And now I would accept a motion to, and is it Flavel?
Flavel.
Flavel. Judy Flavel to the Madison County Library Board.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want to say, for 30 years, I've worked with organizations that work in the public interest. And so my pledge to you is to be mindful of the taxpayer dollars and make sure they're used as intended and used well in partnership with the library board. And your questions are really important. I appreciate you raising them. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, Ray, I know you've got something else to do, and Ruthie, so.
That's the guy I'm worried about right there.
Thank you guys, thank you.
A couple
Hey,
of
Ray.
things you can take with you.
Okay, next is pay resolution number 16 on God's Pantry, and this will be for $31,460.85, 84 lumber, oven, and brown Salisbury walk-in freezer and cooler. So they're getting close to completing that. And this is, like I said, CDBG money, it's grant money, and to ask the court's permission to approve resolution 16 to pay the bills for the food bank.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
We took it off. I meant to tell you all. We'd already done it. We did it last meeting. Next on the agenda.
Did you in favor?
Oh, yes.
I
I'm
thought so.
sorry.
Make sure.
Next, we wanted to talk a little bit. I'm getting some complaints, and Dwayne's getting some complaints. You know, we try to address everything involving building codes and permits, but it seems like with the more and more storms and the wind damage and stuff, come on up, Dwayne, we're getting from contractors that own business license in the two cities in the county, that carry their workman's comp and their liability insurance. You know, they go out and bid a job the right way. We're getting a lot of kind of storm chasers or fly-by-nighters, people that just, when we have some wind damage, they'll come through and, hey, we'll do that for half of what anybody else would do, and, you know, and it winds up 5 years later, they're not even bonded. And then 5 years later, the roof's gone again, and these people look back at us just like that's the reason we're so stringent on building inspections. And we've kind of haven't really looked at that, but I think, Dwayne, we're okay with it. It's in our regulations, but we just wanted to make this open and get you all's opinion on starting to really crack down on these storm chasers or whatever. We feel like it's important, if you've got a roof damage, that you need to get a permit to do that and get an inspection for the homeowner's sake to make sure that it's put on the right way. And just wanted to open the floor up. I don't know if y'all have had some complaints, but now I've got several complaints lately.
Dwayne gets plenty of complaints.
Yeah, most of the complaints we get are from homeowners, where contractors have come in and done shoddy jobs. They've got problems with it, can't get the contractor back because they're from out of town or out of state. And a lot of them, this last storm that we had a lot of hail damage on asphalt shingle roofs. We went through one subdivision and found 8 different roofing contractors working in the subdivision. None of them had a business license to work in the county. None of them were paying their occupational or their payroll taxes. We found 3 working in there that had no liability, no workers' comp insurance, They had no insurance at all, and when we contacted or spoke with the homeowners about it, it had been completely misrepresented to them. Then we also find on a regular basis, and we work directly with Scott Tussey on this matter, but what they do with the old shingle, many times we find that they're dumping them on farms, they're dumping them on roadsides, and we're having to go back and clean it up. We caught one group that had about 10 or 12 workers. None of them were licensed. They had no insurance, and they were taking their shingle that they were tearing off of roofs in Adams Place subdivision and taking them over Greens Crossing and just dumping them on somebody's property, unbeknownst to the property owner, leaving that guy with the obstacle now of cleaning up asphalt shingle. So there's a lot of problems with this, not to mention the fact of the workmanship. What we've tried to do through the years when we first started building code enforcement in the county was we made it a gradual progression. We didn't immediately come in and just start absolutely browbeating everybody over it, but year after year after year, we've kind of tightened the regs up. We've been a little more forceful with some of the regulations, some of the requirements. This is an excerpt straight from the 2006 Kentucky Residential Code, where it does require permits for re-roofing of houses. It sets out standards for re-roofing, that you can have no more than 2 layers of shingle on a house. If you have 2 layers, you've got to strip it all the way down to the sheathing and go back over it. It begins to void the warranties of the shingle when you put it on there and it's got more than 2 layers of shingle. So we're finding numerous problems with this from several different fronts. I approached Judge Clark about it, and he felt like it'd be a good idea if I just bring up and bring it to your attention as magistrates, because you're going to begin to probably get some phone calls from some roofing contractors, although we've had 4 or 5 different roofing contractors that came to us specifically over the last probably 2 months and asked that we do this, that we tighten up the requirements and we begin to look at the re-roof jobs, because it's just not being done correctly. Even with the metal roofs that's going on, those metal roofs many times are not being put on according to the manufacturer's instructions, and there's no vapor barrier that's put between the metal roof and the asphalt shingle roof that's there, that allows that moisture and that condensation that builds up in that gap when they put the wood strips on it. It's just not being fastened down. So even though they're paying for a metal roof that should be guaranteed for 50 years, the first windstorm we get, it pulls the metal roof right back off, because they're trying to nail pine strips down through 2 or 3 layers of asphalt shingle into the roof sheathing, and it's just not holding. So it's more of a consumer protection issue that we're looking at to try to help the consumer out there.
What about the city of Richmond do this too?
I've met with City of Richmond and City of Berea, and they're both on board with doing the same thing. I mean, we've been meeting, the 3 building departments have been meeting about every other month to sit down and talk about differences and hash those out based upon your all's direction, and that's worked out really well. We're coming closer to things, and it's been able to open up dialogues like this to where we can talk about those kinds of things. You know, City of Richmond's doing a lot of things, and the City of Berea that we've done. Both are getting ready to adopt the vacant property registration ordinance like we've done, and so there's a lot of things that we are getting more and more on the same page with.
On those that you went out and found didn't have business license and permits, or up to the permits they need, what'd you do, shut them down?
We shut them down,
Okay.
yeah. Most of them are fairly compliant. Every now and then you run into one that wants to raise a fight, and my next comment is, I'm not going to fight with you. I'll call the sheriff and we'll get you out here and we'll get you off the property if we have to.
What percentage do you see the ones out there working don't have a permit? I mean, what's the percentage?
Most of them. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably 80% or more.
So the bottom line is, need to get a permit, need to have an inspection to make sure that the drip edge, everything's okay. They're not putting it on 3 sheets of shingles and stuff. And then mainly because of the environment, they've got some registered place and a receipt to where they took those shingles they took off that house and dumped them.
Yeah. And
Well,
from,
Essex County probably the only place they can take them in.
yeah.
It's the only-
The Garrett County's got a construction demolition debris dump site there. You know, the local contractors' complaints are, I've got my business license for all 3 cities, I'm paying my net profit, I'm paying my payroll tax, I'm doing all those kinds of things the right way, I'm paying for proper disposal of my shingle, and I'm getting beat out on bids on projects where they don't have insurance, they're not paying their taxes, they don't have their business license, and they're just dumping the shingles on somebody's farm or in a sinkhole somewhere. So you're not comparing apples with apples when the homeowners are shopping for bids. They automatically assume, if they don't know much about it, they automatically assume that the guy with the high bid's just trying to rip them off.
Well, the homeowners have an exemption with this if we do it. I mean, as somebody working on their own home, will they be required to get the permit too?
They'd be
also?
required to get the permit too. By the code, they would be required to get the permit too. But you don't find too many homeowners doing that type of work anymore.
Will that be
It's-
based on estimate of cost or just a flat fee?
Right, it'd be estimated cost. You know, some of these jobs, I mean, I talked to a guy yesterday, they had no insurances and nothing like that, and they were paying $17,000 for a re-roof job.
So you mean the permit fee would be based on what the job is gonna be?
Yeah, our whole permit fee schedule is based upon the estimated cost of the
Footage of the
project.
house.
So, you know, if you've got a 1,200 square foot house and you're just adding another layer of shingle on it, that permit cost it may cost $1,500, $1,500 to $2,000 to re-roof that house is about the going rate for that. The permit cost on that would be somewhere between $75 and $100. So it's not an exorbitant permit fee, and it covers all the inspections that we need, and it gives the homeowner some peace of mind, some sense of security to know that what they're paying for is actually being done correctly.
So the man that has 5 or 6 shingles blown off and climbs up there to tack them back on himself.
That's not an
no
issue.
problem. It's where you're replacing the roof.
It's where you're re-roofing the whole house.
Okay, and like I said, it's already been addressed. We just want to make you all aware of it. Veronica, I hope, you might do a little story on it to just make people aware of, what's being done out there that really isn't in the best interest of the homeowner. Really isn't.
And we will.
This is a protection, to the homeowner. I know it's gonna cost a little money, but, most people want a good job and they want it done right.
Yeah.
So this is just another way we can protect them.
And we'll enforce this in the same way we do the rest of the regulations with, applying common sense to it and reason as we get into the situation so that, it's not, it's not going to be overburdensome. And the local contractors have all said, I got no problem paying, $100 for a permit to re-roof a job.
Till we maybe get with this, or do you have somebody just going out catching the people without permits? I mean, other than the whole department?
My whole department does it. We cover, there's 4 of us that's out and about every day, and we meet every morning. And I tell them when you're going out, we look for all the things that fall underneath our umbrella. We're constantly looking for, junkyards or property maintenance issues or people working without a license, or if we're going out to do a framing inspection on a house and we see a plumber there that we've not recognized or we don't know before, they know to call back to the office, see if they have a business license. If not, we approach the plumber right there and say, you got to have a business license. You got to pay your net profit tax. You got to pay your payroll tax. So when the business license got transferred over into our department, it made it easier for us to pick up those other businesses that were falling through the cracks that just weren't paying the taxes. I mean, you guys work hard to keep from raising taxes, and this just allows us to be able to capitalize on the tax that's already on the books, so everybody's being taxed fairly.
You
Pretty
done
much
good.
a level playing field for everybody.
That's right, and that's all the contractors have asked for from day one. That's why they were supportive of the county doing building codes, because you got too many people that's bidding on jobs, and it's not comparing apples with apples. If everybody has to do about the same
I've never had a
standard.
complaint of any of the contractors opposed.
No.
Okay, Dwayne, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next on the agenda is the road contract on the last phase of Barnes Mill. Briefly, as you all are aware, we did the first phase, which was the winery section. Then the county's kind of overseen this project, even though it's a state road. We did the hill section, then we did the section from the bottom of the hill to the bridge. We've been jockeying with a little bit of money and met with transportation officials, and we had some money left on the winery. We had a little money left on the hill, plus we had received $1 million to do the bottom of the hill to the bottom of the winery. We're a little short, and they've allowed us to move some money around, so we now have the money to do that last section, which will be from the bridge to the bottom of the winery. We have advertised that. We've gone through all the procurement. We had one bidder, the Allen Company, came in. The construction cost is $648,490. They're ready to go. We've got all the utilities except AT&T moved. The fences are set back. And I would like the court's permission to approve the contract with Allen and let them get started while the weather's nice, so we can get that completed for the people that use 876.
Judge, that money now, will that be for the fence and the culverts and everything?
The fence, if you'll look at it, that doesn't, but we got the fence. It's included in their bid, but Allen Company will get the invoice from miners, just like we've done on all the other. And then they will submit us, and we'll submit it to the state for reimbursement. There is no county money involved in this project. There hadn't been. The $12 million, we haven't spent one penny of county money in this whole project.
Well, I didn't think we had, but I just read that about the fence there, and I know how particular some people are.
It's included. It's an addendum to the contract, Larry. It's $56,750.
All right, put up a good fence, all I say.
So
moved.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
I guess.
Judge Clark?
why? Because it's not your district?
No, it's just a lot of money to go one place. Well, I'm glad we're getting it done. I'm tickled to death, you know.
Been
If it
four-
was in my district, I'd still question.
Been 4 wrecks down there in the last 2 months.
It needs it. I mean, I'll be the first.
I'm
to
just
say
kidding with you, Larry. Our reverse online auction, we participate in that each year through KCO, and I think we had 5 bidders, and it's been a very successful program for us, and Leroy's here. I think I can do it. Detroit Salt has been awarded the bid the last couple of years, Leroy. They came in at $70.59, which was the low bid again. And they've done last year they did a tremendous job of keeping salt to us. And when we went over our quota, they didn't raise us like every other company did. So I'd like the court's permission to accept the bid amount of $70.59 for salt for the upcoming 2012-2013 winter.
I guess you have to estimate how much you think you're gonna need, is that correct? Now, what if you go over that? Can they raise that?
They can, but they never have.
They never have. They can, it's in the contract.
Well,
But
our
Leroy
bid should
always-
be about full, shouldn't it?
Leroy always adds to it anyway.
Hopefully, we won't need any more.
You say all of our salt
Next year.
bins full?
Well, they're not completely full, but they're pretty close.
Very cool.
Okay, motion to accept.
So moved, I'm sorry.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Next is, I need a motion to approve paying the election workers. We all know the May primary's coming up, and typically, you know, that has to be submitted at the next fiscal court meeting, so those workers go, sometimes we've had them go 2 weeks without getting paid. So we'd like the court's permission to allow Kenny and the election board to go on and get those election workers paid as soon as possible after the May primary.
So moved.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Judge's report, I have one. Keith's here if you have any questions. He wants to hire Douglas Ross Golden full-time. He's been working, how long has he been working with you, Keith?
Working a little over 2 months temporary. We had one that we had to let go, and
doing an excellent job, and Keith doesn't want to lose him, and I'd like the court's permission to hire Ross Golden as full-time at the animal shelter.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barker,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Let's see, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall, Debbie Hoskins has done a wonderful job of bringing that in. It'll be on display at the Center for the Performing Arts from April 26th through the 29th. There'll be an opening ceremony on the 26th at 10:30 there at the Arts Center. Everybody's invited. I think maybe tomorrow morning it's going to be brought in on trucks and go down Main Street. So everybody can see it, but it's I've seen it before. It's something special, and I hope everybody can get out there and see that. Clay Hamrick, our golf pro, has submitted his report in the packets, and as always, if you all have any questions, he's more than willing to answer them. Clay's doing an outstanding job, and this looks like the best year since we've had the golf course. It's going to be a good one. We've got some good weather in the spring. And Keith's report's in your packet, so when Keith's here, if you have any questions up for that. And finally, I want to congratulate our buddy, Bill Robinson. Seems like Bill just got promoted to editor of the Richmond Register, and Bill's been a friend of the court and a friend of city and the county, and does an excellent job and really dedicated. And I'd like on behalf of the court to congratulate Bill Robinson as our new editor of the paper.
He's been around a long time.
That's deja vu all over again.
Now, that's all I have in the judge's report. Comments from department heads. Michael, do you have something?
I'm sitting in for Carl today. He is in Garrett County at the IPT meeting with FEMA reps and the Army reps and various CSEP guys. What I'm passing out is at the last meeting, we opened bids for the hazmat suits. We have analyzed those bids, and we're recommending that Granger be awarded. They're the lowest bid. They met all of our criteria there, as you can see in the little spreadsheet.
Well, it's a close bid, wasn't
Yeah, it was a close bid, $54.
it? The nickel there couldn't.
Yep.
Any questions for Michael?
And this is all CSEP funding, no county funding.
If not, I mean, you all know how they really break it down into categories. I don't think anybody in the state awards a bid or scrutinizes it any more than you all do. On Michael's recommendation, a motion be in order to accept Granger's bid for the hazmat suits.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barker,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
And one more thing, this annual CSEP conference is going to be held in Pueblo, Colorado this year. The dates are June 26th and 27th. So, you guys have any other questions?
That's it. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Any other department heads? Dwayne? No, come on.
Brief, but this is our quarterly report, first quarter report for, just for building and construction activity in the county. I try each time to do a 3-year comparison with the same time period, just so you can kind of see the trends and what's happening. 2010, we issued permits for about $5.7 million worth of construction for the first 3 months. 2011, it dropped 18%. We were down to about 4.7 million in 2011. This year so far, it looks like it's, even though the first quarter it dropped 3%, it's down to about 4.5 million. In April, we've really been inundated with a lot of permits, a lot of new houses. So I think the second quarter, I think we're going to see that we're probably going to jump back up and be more equal with what happened in 2010 than 11. We're seeing a little pickup and seeing some new houses and some new activity going on, and so I think that's going to pick up overall. In 2010 there was $2.7 million worth of new houses built. 2011 1.6 and this year 1.7. So there's still some new houses going up. Most of them are not your high-end homes. Most of them are your 100,000 to maybe 250, 275, 285 in that range. There is it seems like it's kind of plateaued now, and we're expecting second quarter to probably be up more what I intend to do on my 6-month report to give you is give you more of a detailed report of all the permit activities for mechanical, electrical, all those kinds of things, so you can see a good snapshot overview of everything we do and how it compares with the past 2 years as far as the semi-annual reports for the past 2 years.
I wonder if the city of Richmond would parallel these trends.
Yeah, they are. They send me a copy of their reports, and then I get a copy of a regional report that shows the regional trend for this area. And to be honest, Madison County is still, even though it looks down to us, we're still up compared to all the other areas around. And I'll send you guys a copy of that email that shows that regional trend report for all the surrounding counties and how Madison County compares with building permits and reporting.
Is the manufactured homes at trailers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They about quit, haven't they?
Yeah, they've dropped way off. And I think it's all financing. It's, the biggest problem right now with the housing market is people being able to get the money. Most of the banks are requiring 40% down, or, anywhere from 20 to 40% down based upon your credit score, and being able to come up with that much money down is just, it's tough for a lot of people. So that's the activity that's going on as far as the building permits and the construction activity in the county.
That's a good report, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dwayne. Let me make a note that anything that we talk about in this court meeting, any bid acceptance, like these reports like this, and Ronica knows this with the paper, they're available to anybody in the general public. All you have to do is come in the office and ask for any particular thing, and we're more than willing to give it to you. Do we have any other department heads? Jerry, Kenny, John?
No, sir.
If not, we go to comments from magistrates. Greg?
Everything seemed to be running pretty smooth. I'm just glad to be here.
Roger?
Just wanted to mention, Lynn talked about the flower sale, Butcher Family Flower Sales this weekend, 12 to 8 on Friday, 8 to 5 on Saturday. She mentioned appreciating me, and I appreciate that, but I'm a small part and just a regular helper in it. I don't get it organized. The Butcher family does that. I was just blessed to be part of that family, and don't care to help them. But appreciate everybody coming out and supporting them, and all the money goes to the American Cancer Society. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Bill Ray?
I probably said enough already, Judge. But I did hear that former President George Bush is not going to make it to town as originally scheduled. I know it breaks your heart.
Wonder who they'll send in his place.
That's it.
I would ask you to refund on my ticket, but I didn't buy one. Larry?
And I didn't either, Judge, so I won't even comment. I'm just glad to be here.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the audience? Anybody that'd like to approach the court and ask us anything about anything?
How many you got in jail, though? Oh, was that all?
Good Lord, I wish
Wish I hadn't asked.
Yeah, don't do that anymore, would you?
Okay. Motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barker?
Yes.
Master Hughes? Yes. Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Thank everybody for coming out. Ruthie, you, and Judy, thank you all so much for coming. We appreciate it. It just, and it really turned out really well. And it's, like I said, you were the first, but you won't be the last, Judy. Trust me. Motion to adjourn.
Second.